Hi everyone, welcome back to the Counterattack. Greg Meskel here with you, coming to you on overnight. Thanks for joining us as we look back at the week in water polo. Another busy week as we're in the heart of National League play, plus women's college water polo. Also on this week's show, we'll talk with UCLA star goalie Lauren Steele, coming off an epic freshman season and looking to help the Bruins repeat once again. But first, we dive into National League play. Let's head out to the pools in Southern California. Another big weekend of action early on. We've got LA Athletic Club taking on USA Pipeline. We pick it up here early on. That's Bryce Horman drilling it from the outside, firing with the right hand. Able to hit. Good start there. 1-0 lead. And now look at this pass on the inside, little bobble. And Birosh able to put that home. Undaunted. Bats that in. And LA Athletic Club couldn't ask for a better beginning in this one. Now we skip ahead here. 7-5 the score. Pipeline looking to make a push. And they'll get it inside. Here's the dish in close. It's more LAAC after Pipeline tried to chip away in that one. Now let's go 5-meter shot here. How about the block there? Baxter coming up big. More on him later. A huge day for the keeper. Able to turn that one away. Now we go later on, 8-6. This is USA Pipeline turning to Ryan Ohl, one of the rising stars in the game here. He's able to convert. And then no cap, no problem. More from USA Pipeline. They make it a 1-goal game. Things are getting dicey here between Pipeline and LA Athletic Club. And then turn back to Ohl in traffic. Can't stop him. Even at 9. Huge connect from Ryan Ohl. And now late stages here. 7-on-6. Baxter Chelson, the keeper, give it off to Zelikov. Rips it. What a shot. He ties the game. Big connect. 3 seconds left. And that is straight cash. Upper right. And now we go to a shootout. And after losing early, and Baxter coming up with the game-clinching block. What a turnaround for Pipeline. They were down. They come all the way back to win it. Baxter Chelson there. Huge block to turn away LA Athletic Club and pick up the win in the shootout. Now moving right along. Long Beach and Riptide. Gabby Acosta moving in traffic, able to hit. How do you stop this guy? He's been so good for Long Beach State. Cruises in there and buries it. But then firing from the outside now. Third quarter action. Riptide and Tomas DeLuca bringing the heat. We go the other way now. It's Acosta on the lob, able to convert there. Now swing that ball around. And again, this is just good passing, right? Lofts that up, but finds it where nobody is. A couple of fakes and more from Long Beach as O'Donnell is able to hit. And then this is another nice move on the interior here. Pass will come inside, and it's that man, Acosta again. Spins inside and hits. Now we go late here in the fourth. This one is getting dicey. 13 all late. Long Beach AF firing from the perimeter. Able to hit. So now a 1-goal game. Does Riptide have an answer? They do. And we are knotted up at 14. Let's take one more look at this tying goal to force the shootout. Near side, all money. Down to the shootout. Regola here for Long Beach. That's good. Now Dane Howell turned away. No, sir. Now Sergey Ramon. Caleb Francisco. As we move right along here, this goes quickly. That one is on the board as well for Long Beach. Able to hit there. Now Rafael Kremp. Number 14 turned away. That was De Silva Diaz denied. And the shootout continues, just sliding past the keeper. Score that goal there to make it 17-16. Shots keep on coming. This This is where you start to get into a fatigue situation. Who can make a stop after all this time? It really starts to favor the shooters over the goalkeepers. And as we say that, a keeper turns away that attempt there. And Riptide takes it. That was Nicholas Fedotov with the winner. Now we go Channel Islands. Sunset, a little more sun on the pool here. That's Sebastian Sack putting Sunset up 7-4. We'll hear that name again a little bit later on. Channel Islands, they've come to play. Good passing there on the interior. Tyler Roller able to hit. Second look here. Controlling there on the near side. Quick dish. And now how about long range? Danilo Dragovic firing from deep and converting. Swinging back the other way now for Sunset. Christian Hammonds showing off his long range try. Make it 8-6 now in favor of Sunset. Moving towards the cage once again. Good dish on the inside. Razvan Alistar for Sunset. Putting the squad up 9-6. You're going to see that pass right where he needed it. Gathers and finishes. Channel Islands, Sean O'Brien is going to take care of business here. Able to hit there, but Sunset always seemed to have an answer. We'll get one more look at this connect here for the Channel Islands squad now. Kenley Axline battling in traffic, ditches the defender, and jams at home. Make it 10-7. Channel Islands make one more push in this one following the Axline goal. That's the question here. This one moving towards the cage in traffic and dunk it home. Tyler Roller has another one. Saw him earlier on, able to hit. 10-8, make it 10-9. Griffin Peretti. This is fourth quarter action. Clutch score here from Peretti, make it a 1-goal game. But too much Sunset. It's that man. Sebastian Sack, put it on Seabass's tab. 11-9, Sunset goes up. And they go on to take the victory with that strike from the outside. Now let's take a look around the rest of the National League Week 3 action at the World Aquatic Center. NJ Sarah, here are the scores from another busy weekend of National League play. Keep in mind, just one weekend left of the regular season coming up in a couple of weeks. And then, of course, the National League Championship at the end of April.
National League is a lot of fun, and we're so proud of our guys. Everyone's improving so much. Each day we can see, each weekend we can see that we play together as a team. We slow down the game a lot, so I'm very excited to see what the finals hold and what the following weeks hold. Yeah, it's amazing. I've played National League for a couple years now, and every year I can see bigger names coming. I mean, we just saw Dennis Varga come into LAAC, so every year the competition goes up, and we have so many teams this year and a lot of high-level games, so it's very impressive.
The defense that we were running is pretty active, and we're coming together really well. We're from a bunch of different parts of, I guess, the country and actually all over the world. And a lot of us haven't really played together that much before, but it's really starting to come together, and we're starting to play like a team. You get to see a lot of faces that you've seen before and a lot of faces that you haven't seen before. I know a lot of the top college guys or college teams are playing, and that's really important, especially in the off season, to keep pushing the envelope for a real professional league in the state.
Now let's turn the page to women's college water polo. We are in the thick of things when it comes to conference play around the country. Some big matches airing right here on Overnight this past weekend. Out to the pool we go. We started off with UCLA and Cal squaring off. 1-1 first quarter action here between the Bears and the Bruins. Always a good matchup when these two square off. It's Cal on the attack here, working that ball around. Get it along 2 meters and give it to Rosalie Hassett, rising standout in the Team USA system. She's able to bury that one. Bears now up 3-2, make it 4-2. Varo up on her legs on the power play. That's good to go. But now the defense, Lauren Steele, 1 block and another. We'll hear more from Lauren a little bit later on in the show. Emma Lineback coming back for the Bruins now, down 5-3. Just that fast. UCLA, whoa, what a run. They're up 7-5 now. More Lineback along 2 meters, goes cross cage. Great spot there for a lefty. Able to fire and hit. Second look, different angle, and able to tuck that one in there. Now Taylor Smith, long outlet. Smith in transition. That's cross cage. That was a beautiful outlet and just puts it underneath the keeper's arm. 12-6, Bruins rolling. Ruby Swadling gets the 7th of the day for Cal on the 6-on-5, but it's all Bruins. They win it 12-7 in this one, despite the nice goal here on the catch and release. Now Stanford, Arizona State, Jenna Flynn. That's Olympian Jenna Flynn to you on the catch and release there. Make it 3-1. Now let's talk defense. Christine Carpenter in the cage makes the stop. And guess what? She's going to do it again. More Carpenter there. Arizona State, as we move ahead now, trailing in this one. Stanford got out to the 4-1 lead. They're now at 6-3. Itziar Almeida fouled from way downtown. Bang. That's good. Make it 6-4. So Arizona State hanging tough here as we are near halftime. Now we go third quarter. Stanford surging 9-4. Another Olympian. It's tough stuff when you have so many Olympians on your roster as Stanford does. Jewel Romer able to hit. Make it 10-4 on the pass from Flynn. 14-6 now. Cardinal pulling away in this one. Moving it along 2 meters on the 6-on-5. Maggie Hawkins does not miss from there. And then how about a little Stanford defense initially? They'll get Jackie King into the ball game here with the big lead. Now up 18-11. Makes the stop. King able to gather. And then good fight there. How about Millie Quinn? Former Cal Bear, the transfer. She's frustrated as King, but Quinn will take it. Puts it away, but no worries for the Cardinal. They pick up the win 18-12 on the road. And now back to California, USC, Indiana, more MPSF play from the outside there. It's Jada Ward, the keeper for USC, batting that one down. And then you're seeing a theme here. Olympian Emily Osmus in her freshman season bangs that one 2-1 on the 5-meter. Grace Hathaway now 5-meter try hits Indiana right there down 5-4. Hoosiers hanging tough on the road in Los Angeles. The lefty from New Zealand, Louisa Downs, drills it from the outside. 1-goal game once again, 7-6. But now the Trojans up 10-7. Osmus on the counter. She's awesome. Puts it home near side, 11-7. And the Trojans now taking control. 12-7. Rachel Gazanaga able to hit there, make it 13-7. Rachel, one of the bright spots for the Trojans a season ago and picking up where she left off. And then a big return for USC. The Australian Tilly Kearns back in the land of Troy. They're thrilled to have her. That's her 5th on the day. Makes it 17-7. And now Indiana, can they find a way back? Perhaps too little too late, but a nice play here from Sophia Solly on the power play. Gets inside and is able to convert. 20-10 here. The lead for USC. That's Anna Reed with the stop. And then trying to turn some defense into offense. Long outlet pass here. Why not go for it? End of the match. About a minute remaining. This is what the Hoosiers want to do throughout the game. That is defense right the other way. Salvi able to convert. But let's finish it off with the Trojans. Osmus to Alma Jacobi. The goal is there, and the Trojans win this one 21-12. And now we take a look around the rest of the country, update you with some results from this past weekend in women's college water polo. UC Davis, UC Santa Barbara, Big West showdown. The Aggies take it in golden goal overtime, 12-11. Getting the victory there. We showed you some of these teams already. UCLA, Cal, Indiana. The Bruins, they knocked off Indiana 19-9 when those two got together. Then let's take it back east. Washington and Jefferson all over Penn State Behrend, 16-5. And then we'll talk Harvard stepping out of conference play to take on Marist out of the MAC. Harvard getting the victory there, 13-9. And now time for our big conversation this week on the counterattack. We are joined by one of the rising stars here in women's college water polo from UCLA, Lauren Steele. Lauren, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Greg. Thank you for having me.
Lauren, what an awesome year last year. I know you're in the thick now of your second season. And so let's start first with what's happening now, and then we'll kind of go back to last year. We just popped your name up there, and you can see all the awesome things that you won a year ago. Let's talk about 2025 season and how things are going thus far. You have some good wins. I know you have some results that you'd like to have back, probably some early losses. But I want to hear from you. How are things going with the Bruins?
Yeah, I think earlier in the season, like you said, we had some losses that really didn't kind of represent who we wanted to be. Starting, back with the Calbus tournament, and that's kind of like our halfway point in season. So after that tournament, we definitely had to take a hard kind of reset and really look at ourselves as a team and see, what do we want out of this year? And I think since then we've been able to make a real adjustment and come out in some of our recent games strong and I don't know, be a lot more connected than we definitely were beforehand and earlier in season.
Yeah, as you mentioned, that Calbus tournament really kind of a big litmus test for teams early on. Now you're kind of getting into the heart of MPSF play. So what's the message now as you kind of look towards the heart of conference play, and then obviously the conference tourney and NCAs and everything?
Yeah, I think for us, it's just like every game getting better and using that as an opportunity. So this weekend, starting on Thursday, we have 3 games kind of lined up. Thursday with Princeton, and then this weekend up in NorCal with San Jose and Pacific. And I think for us, it's like every game is a test. We treat every single game the same. So using that to kind of prepare us for what we're going to see later with teams like, USC and Stanford that are going to definitely test us. So, yeah.
You couldn't have scripted a better freshman season, I think, if you think back to last year and the way things went for you as you reflect back on that year to come in as a freshman and take on that role and then to win the title. How do you describe what went on in 2024?
I mean, it was incredible for me personally. It was incredible for UCLA and our team, especially having not won a national championship for so long. But I think now in the season, I have to be like, that's all in the past.
Yeah.
And kind of the same that I came in last season, not having any expectations. I have to kind of be in that mindset, similar that it doesn't really matter what happened last year. But, at the same time, we do definitely have a title to defend. And, we want to always get better. There's always more to prove. So, yeah.
Did you have a sense of, and you just mentioned it, that there had been this drought, right? UCLA at one point was the gold standard when it comes to women's water polo, having won 5 in a row in the late 2000s. Did you have a sense of kind of the pressure that was building to break through again and win a title?
Definitely a sense of pressure. I think that, yeah, UCLA is one of like the most historic programs. The other weekend we played Fresno and we had our alumni here, and the 2005 squad was here, and it was so incredible just to see them and talk to some of those women and see like what their experience at UCLA was. So I think it's definitely that we want to get UCLA water polo back on the map. And last year was such a step forward, but it's like last year happened. We got to keep going. We have to keep showing that we can compete at the highest level. And, we're here, we're a top team, and we're here to go for it.
That 2005 team was especially ridiculous. If you look at that roster, it's just loaded with stars and Olympians. Your journey has been a pretty cool one, originally coming from the East Coast and then coming out West and having some success at the high school ranks. Just curious, I know you've had to talk about this in the past, but what was that decision like, that journey like to decide that you wanted to move to California and pursue this at the highest level possible?
Yeah, I think back, it was actually about like 4 years ago now that I decided to come out here. And my biggest thing was just I loved playing water polo, and I was kind of just like chasing this dream of playing in college, chasing this dream of playing with the national team. And yeah, so it was a huge step for me. It was a huge step for my parents to, let me go out to California and do that. But it's been such an amazing thing, not even just for water polo, but for life and all the friends that I've made and the connections, and just, I don't know, it was an incredible move for me.
Everyone in water polo so often talks about the family nature of the sport and how closely bonded everyone is. You hit on your parents. What sort of support have they given you in this whole journey to do this thing that I'm sure some kids might say to their mom and dad, like, hey, I want to go out here and do this, and their parents might say, like, that's crazy, like that's a wild idea. But yours were fully embracing this idea. How do you describe the way they've helped you?
I think like so much trust in me and trust in them that like we were going to figure it out. And we did really just take it like day by day. Like I came out here and the plan was like, okay, I'm just going to come out here for 3 months. And then it was like, I'm going to come out here and stay for the summer. And then just like more opportunities started coming up that, allowed me to keep going on the journey. And I think also like us making connections with other families and them able to host me and different things like that was super special. But it comes together when now that I'm in college, it's like it's all so worth it. And I think my parents see that everything worked out kind of how it was supposed to.
Do you remember a moment you talked about kind of chasing this dream of wanting to be a college water polo player and tracking down national team dreams as well? And now you're in college and you're doing national team activities as well. Can you think back a couple of years ago? Was there a moment where you kind of realized like this is happening for me? Like the things I'm trying to do are starting to unfold the way that I've dreamt about?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many moments that I can think of that's kind of happened to me. And you definitely like, have moments of doubt too, but it's like you just kind of have to trust yourself and keep remembering. I always say like remember my why. Why am I doing this? And so yeah, I don't know. There's been so many that I've been so grateful for that everything has worked out. One, of course, being last year when we won, that was just really special to just see, and me graduating early from high school, just see it all play out so nicely. But yeah.
As a fellow East Coaster, I'd like to ask, what is something you miss most about living back east?
Um, Recently it's been the snow because it's been snowing a lot there, and
Yeah.
I don't know, my family's been sending me photos and I was like, "Oh, I remember those days." Wake up, snow day, no school or whatever, skiing, but yeah.
Yeah, have you had to explain the premise of a snow day to your teammates that like there could
Yeah,
just
I
be a
have.
watch for the weather and like the excitement of like waking up in the morning to know if school was canceled?
Yeah, they none of them really understood it. I was trying to explain it to them. They're like, we had school off for fires once." Like, it's not the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
But
different.
yeah.
Yeah, you play goalkeeper. It's not for everybody. What is it about that position that you enjoy so much?
I think it's kind of the role you can have like on the team. Like if a goalie has a really good game, then it's going to put your team in a position to win. And that's a lot of pressure, and that's a lot of pressure you put on yourself. But also, it's something that's I think really special that your teammates can look behind you and be like, okay, the goalie has my back. But so that's something that I love about it.
You have gotten involved with the USA national team. I know you got to take part in some trainings as well as that group was kind of getting ready for Paris and obviously even earlier this year. When you're around a team that's at that level, that's gearing up for the ultimate competition in water polo, what is that experience like for you?
Definitely just brings my level has to come up playing at such a like with such amazing players like that Paris squad. I think training with them, it was really just about trying to push them to be better, but then making myself better so that I can get up to that standard that they were playing at. But I don't know, that is definitely really special when I got to train with them, and it's something that you come into and it's kind of just way bigger than yourself. So yeah.
I assume the Olympics are a goal of yours. When you think about Team USA, what do you want to achieve if you looked down the road 4 years, 8 years?
It's definitely a goal of mine. LA 2028 coming up, and something that I strive for. I think it's just like you got to take it kind of day by day with that stuff. You ever see where everything falls, but it's definitely a goal of mine that it's always in the back of my head and that I'm working for.
I asked you about back east. What's something you enjoy most about being in Westwood and on campus at UCLA? It doesn't necessarily need to be water polo. Is there something else that you just love about being in that area?
I just love how close everything is. I can just walk down to go get food and kind of just like the Westwood Village, and yeah, just like the UCLA community is really tight, and I love that.
Do you have like a go-to Diddy Reese order? Have you partaken, or where do you stand on that?
I love Diddy Reese. Yeah, I'll go and just get a ice cream sandwich, just normal Chipwich. Um,
Smart, smart. Chipwich,
yeah,
excellent callback. Um, If you dig deep in the bio of Lauren Steele, there is a reference to professional wrestling, and I've got to bring it up. Your uncle, Tommy Dreamer, is it? Tell me
Yeah.
about what you knew about that growing up as a kid, and just having someone involved in sports entertainment that's certainly different. Some people think water polo and wrestling are the same thing sometimes, but what's been your experience having an uncle involved in that genre?
It's been pretty funny. I don't know. He's a crazy guy. I love him. It was really cool growing up. I think just like I would always see him at the holidays, and he would tell us kind of stories from his different like wrestling career. And I know like he's on Sirius XM. He has a radio show there, and so like for UCLA water polo, when we were doing our fundraiser, he did like a little announcement on that, and that was able to like some of his fans donated. So that was something that was really cool that I can kind of have him be, a different platform to get more people interested in water polo. So yeah.
We talk about like the premise of water polo tough. Like this guy wrestled in ECW in like the 90s and 2000s. For those that are not educated, that's like hardcore. Like that was like the no holds barred version of wrestling. He's a pretty tough guy, I imagine.
Yeah, he's super tough guy.
That's cool. Well, has he come to a UCLA match? Has he come to a water polo before?
No, that's the goal, to get him to come out to one. So hopefully.
Well, please let us know if that's happening, so we can try and get a photo, or maybe we can talk to him or something. It'd be funny to get his take on what he thinks of what's happening at 2 meters.
Yeah, definitely.
Last thing for you, Lauren. You obviously have a title to defend, as you talked about. What do you think it'll take for UCLA to repeat as champions in Indianapolis this year?
I think it's going to take us being even more connected than we were last year, like even tougher, even more disciplined to kind of like our details in our water polo that we want to play. And yeah, it's just gonna, every single game, every single training that we have, I think we have to just bring the standard up and more. And hopefully, at the end that's going to be enough, because that's all we can do is try to play our water polo and be our best, and no one can play with that. So yeah.
Excellent, Lauren. I know a busy week for you. Practice today, games coming up. Thanks for taking a few minutes to chat with us.
Yep. Thank you.
Once again, big thanks to Lauren Steele for joining us here on The Counterattack. More big conversations coming up in the weeks ahead right here on the show. Now we turn to one of my favorite features of the week, our Momston Goal of the Week. Take a look at this big play.
Now swimming it forward to Sofia Maiorello, the freshman from Naples, Italy. Skips a pass, goes to that weak side where Olay is waiting. Olay inside, finds the centering pass, and the score. Number 9, Lucy Willis gets St. Francis back on the board there. Here's the pass down inside, and Willis able to spin, get the shot off.
Don't forget, you can send in great goals. How about goalie saves that you want to see featured here on the show? Send us a DM, tag us at USAWP. Also hit up the Overnight social channels on Instagram or wherever else you get your social content. Now let's look ahead. What's coming up here in the world of water polo? First on Overnight, as we mentioned, National League Week 4, a couple of weeks away. We've also got the National League Championship coming up at the end of April, plus a jam-packed slate of women's college water polo. We are into the good games right now, headed towards conference tourneys, so make sure you tune to Overnight and get yourself dialed in for more high-level water polo, and then other upcoming USA Water Polo events this weekend in the Bay Area. USA Water Polo ODP Boys National Championships. In a couple of weeks, the Girls National Championships for ODP will take place out in Salt Lake City. So 2 big events coming as the USA Water Polo Summer Slate is closing in fast with a whole host of big competitions. And that'll do it for this week's show. Thanks so much for joining us. And don't forget, when you're on the counterattack, look weak side.